Well, hello there. How are you doing? I trust you're doing good. Today, I'm so excited on sharing property investing or in property investments for beginners. So while we're waiting for everybody just to come in quickly, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of how we are going to address the next short time that we have together. Are you excited? I am absolutely excited where I am. I just get so jumpy and so excited for. I suppose I'm like that. So let me not even give reasons for it. I see there's a lot of you that are logging in. Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, welcome to those that have just logged in. We are so excited you're here. Wonderful. I see more coming in. Boom. Wow, this is so exciting. So very exciting. Let me just look. The moment we hit over the 100 mark, guys, we're going to go for it because I don't want to hold you up too long today. Today is going to be jam-packed with a lot of information. While others are logging in, I just want to encourage you, if you do not have a pen and paper handy, you need to get one now, quickly, quickly, quickly. Why? Because I'm going to try and talk as fast as I can so that I can give you as much information as possible in the short time that we have together. Wonderful. So we've just hit over 160. Okay, there we go, 170 and going up. So I reckon that most of us are in the house and we will just take a check on the number in a short while. So I want to say welcome to the training and thank you for joining me. On today's training, we are going to be diving into getting started in property investing. I'll show you a couple of strategies. I'll also share with you a simple strategy that allows me, even up until today, almost 3 years in, create an income and grow who I am as a person within property. And today I'm going to share with you a few strategies that will allow you to create an income and grow your confidence in finding property opportunities and what you can do with it. Now, if you don't already have property education, that is okay, right? Because we'll cover quite a few investment strategies used by property investors, then you can decide a little bit later what will work for you, how much more information you may need around that particular strategy. And of course, with the webinar, I'm always excited to give something away. If you stay until the very end, I'm going to send you an awesome gift. Everyone that is here has registered for this awesome webinar. So the gift will be on its way on the completion of this particular webinar. So I'm so excited, guys. So it's housekeeping rules very, very quickly. Let's use the Q&A box to drop comments. From time to time, I'm going to call it the comments field. Do forgive me. You know what happens in social media, hey? And we're going to use the Q&A box to communicate. So let us give it a quick test right now, okay? So if you are excited, I'd like you to type yes in the comments field. Also, while others are coming in, also drop in the comments field where you are listening from this particular day. Wonderful, coming in. Yes, 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 yebo, yebo, yes. I like it. I like it, yebo, yes. Wonderful. There's a lot of you that are here in Gauteng. That is awesome. Wonderful. There's West Strand. There's East Strand in the house. I'm just going to block up some numbers and call it by the name of the area. There's a bit of the south here, all right. There's a little bit more northwest. Okay, wonderful. So you guys are in and around Johannesburg predominantly, which then makes a whole lot of sense because when putting this webinar together, that's exactly where we were honing in on. And wow, this is amazing. Guys, we have just clocked 200. So give me a yes, 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 yes. Okay, forgive again. I told you I get excited for some things. All right. So I'm here to serve you today. And like I said, we're going to chat with each other. I want this to be interactive, okay? So today, what are we going to be chatting on? Obviously, we're going to be chatting on property investing. But what about property investing? We're going to be chatting about what is your desired outcome? Why are you actually looking to invest in property? And just getting a little bit more serious about things, because I know I get very excited and start jumping all over the place. I just want to find out from you today, what is your end result? Why is it that you have chosen to start off, or you've been curious about property investing? What are you pursuing in property investing? Remember, just now I said, have that pen ready, have that paper ready, okay? This is the type of questions I want you to write down and to give a real consideration around that. You know, for a while, I used to wonder why every time I go to a seminar, they ask that question. And I tell you, if anything that has been manifested in my space, it's this, that if you don't know your why, you will slack off the road. If you don't know your why of why you're here, why are you pursuing property, it's just going to become another thing that you've gone to training, or you've gone to free webinar or free seminar, been there, done that, got the t-shirt kind of thing. So I really would love that you give that a bit of thought, right? We are here today to invest in you. So you are here today to invest in yourself. And I want to encourage you in your pursuit of getting started in property. I want you to take note. Go to seminars if you need to. Attend training. Get yourself a property coach. Read books all around financial freedom and property. Listen to podcasts. Guys, we're going to tap into more of this as we go along this. But I really need you in the beginning of this webinar to commit to staying to the very end, not only for the free gift, but for the free gift of investing in yourself, all right? We're going to be talking about some cash flow property versus capital growth. Some people would like a property to give them money on a monthly basis. Some people want to go in, buy, renovate, and sell again so that they can get a bulk of the money. What does your strategy look like? We'll talk about advantages and disadvantages of property strategies. But again, it always goes back to you. I may look at something as an advantage, and you will later on say, this is an advantage for me or a disadvantage for me. And of course, what structure will you use to buy your properties in? And the very sore, kind of painful topic about asset protection. We're just going to give a quick highlight on what that is. So I want to find out from you guys. Guys, are you ready? West Rand, South, Northwest. I love this. The North. Guys, are you ready for me? Oh, yes, I haven't forgotten the person in Pretoria. Yes, the Pretoria folk that have joined. Not player hating, not player hating. Are you ready to block out the next time, this next short time we have together, to assimilate and to ask the questions that you wanted to ask? Yes, wonderful stuff. Guys, good going. I see that you're using the Q&A box, the comments field, as I will call it. Wonderful stuff. So as we go on, what you need to do right now, if you have not done it already, please get rid of all distractions. Close all the boxes that you've got open, everything except for where you are watching this webinar, all right? Get ready to take notes, because remember, just now I said, please go and get your pen and paper. If you haven't done this, you can't put me on pause, but we will be here waiting for you. And start asking questions. As we're sharing, guys, I want you to ask questions. You know what's powerful for me, especially on the other side of a webinar, and I'm really getting used to doing the webinars and having the sorts of meetings online, is that I don't want to just know that I'm talking into the camera of my laptop. I want to know that there's somebody on the other side asking, listening, even if you don't have a question. If you agree with something, drop it in the comments. Well, the Q&A box. Drop it in the comments, guys. Drop it in the Q&A box. I really want to say this must be something exciting for you. So going back to the slightly serious conversation we had a moment ago, what is your why? People who have a strong reason why are 87% more likely to succeed in business than people who do not. I want you to read that statement again. Do you know why? Many people had started out their property journey alongside my hubby and I, and there's very, very few faces that we see today. Not because we're anything special, but I just wonder for a moment, was their why simply not strong enough? All right? The stronger your reason why, the more likely you'll succeed. Your why is will squash. Oh, look at my look at my spelling there. Your why will squash your excuses. So I just want to say, excuse me there, guys. Sometimes we make mistakes, right? So that was meant to be squash. So your why will squash your excuses. And I know this simply because starting on this journey, we had like 5 million reasons why. And I make that a little joke. Why? Because we were in a lot of debt when we started this journey. We had to sell off our farm. We had to go into like very emotional spaces, very, very emotional spaces. So for you that have been asking me, Jen, how do I start investing in property if I can't even lend money from the bank? I want to say to you today, you're in good company, because I'm sharing with you not from theory, but from practical application of these strategies. There's nothing sweeter than practical applications, I would say. So to give you a little bit about me so that we can get into the chunk of things, guys, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a coach, I'm a property investor. The only time I share that I'm a property investor is in like-minded companies such as this. Why? I will be able to explain that to you shortly. Firstly, it's not that I don't see myself as a property investor. When I'm out there finding deals, the word investor I have found in my experience, somebody else may be different, but in my experience, the word investor chases people away. So those that have got property education, that is watching this webinar right now, I want you to drop in the comments field. Look, guys, I'm going to call it the comments field, okay? The Q&A box. Just remember the Q&A box. I want you to drop in the Q&A box. When you tell somebody that you are an investor, what is the responses they give you? What is the response that they come up with? I would like you to share, which is why, again, I say like trepidation, but also just to share with you guys, I'm speaking from a space of where I know. So while those answers are coming in, I just want to share with you before we dive into some of the stuff that I was talking about. My name is Genevieve Stafford Jack. I am the owner of FHC Consulting. I'm an entrepreneur, property investor, and coach. Recently, I've been known for bringing value to aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself. The value we give as a company, guys, is practical guidelines. And I wanna pause there for a moment. And when I say practical guidelines, I'm not shooting anyone, right? I need you to understand that, because sometimes you may learn a good skill effectively from somebody that's teaching you from theory. And other times you're going to learn a skill from somebody that's on the ground with you. So FHC Consulting, when I deliver from my company, it's from practical guidelines because I am on the ground. I still look for opportunities today. It creates another income stream. It creates cash flow for my business. Okay, guys? You don't just get to starting your property journey and in 6 months, everything just goes away. Property has taught me patience. But nonetheless, there's been a couple of moments like, oh, Jen, why have you started this? I started this because I've got a passion for training and for teaching people more specifically from my point of strength, as I've just finished sharing with you, okay? I generally do this in a very intimate environment that allows everyone that freedom of engaging. And when I say that, I'm talking about 12 people, soon and maybe 16 people at max. But right now, the max is 12 people. I started my training and coaching company about 2.5 years ago. I consulted for several startups, small business, delivered professional keynote speeches across disciplines. However, my personal favorite has been in property education. You see, my husband and I, like I shared, have started our property investing journey in 2016. We attended a free seminar, we signed up for training, and during the training, I mean, we just heard strategies that will give you money or get you money without putting any money down. And that's what I was there for. Unashamedly, that's what I was there for. So I want to ask any of you that have already been for property training, why did you attend that training? I was there to listen to strategies about not putting any money down and getting some money down. And I knew there had to be a lot more work than just having money, okay, guys? I'm going to get to the investor. I see there's a lot of definitions about the investor coming through. So I don't want to take too long, but I just want to share this with you so that you know which company you're in. You know that listening to me talk, it's not talking. It's talking in action. Because when you don't take action in the things that you're doing, guys, it remains a dream. It purely remains a dream. So during the training, we established strategies that would help us get out of debt. We move forward with coaching, and I promise you, if anything it did, it took us to a whole new level. So from minus 5 million in debt, and 2.5 years later, we are still going strong and have dug our way by selling that farm, selling everything that went on that farm. We've done joint ventures. We had source deals. Guys, it was not easy. TJ and I are young parents. We've got 2 kids. And while when we started this journey in 2016, Hope was just about 1.5 years old. Today, my kids are 4 and 11. It was so funny. She said to me last week, Mummy, I know your tummy is sore, but you think we can go and find a property, it will make it better. I thought it was the most funniest thing that she ever said under the sun, guys. But you know what? The kids are listening. The kids are listening. So who in your household is listening to the things you say? Food for thought, right? Back onto it. So guys, we grew, we learned, we fought, we cried. However, we're still standing. That's just the bottom line. The bottom line is we're still standing. Today, TJ is a co-director of M5 Property Addicts, a company that I collaborate with. He met his business partner, Rieta, during networking, something that I'm going to be talking about just now as well. Where do you network? With whom do you network? Do you network with like-minded people that will get you to where you wanting to go, okay? And together they built an awesome company. I started FHC Consulting long before I knew that I was going to have property as a subject, okay? I've done learnerships and the list goes on with how I freelance my skill and done training and coaching for different startups, even startups in property education. So right now I've included property. Why? It goes figure. I'm excited about this. I'm constantly on the ground looking for opportunities and constantly putting into my space a lot more experiences so that when I do teach, it comes naturally. The theory will come after I've told you a story. The theory will all of a sudden make sense, okay? So when I started with property education in my toolkit, I have guided students that felt like they were stuck. I've guided students that had started with training and they were unable to move on with property coaching. I have guided students that were just like, Jen, we've got all this, but I can't find opportunities. I'm frustrated. And then I've guided those that just said, I want to get off the starting block and understand what this property journey is for me. Because you know what? I am an aspiring property entrepreneur. So I want to say to you that if you fall into any of those categories, you are in good company. All right? So what will you learn today? So when you complete the training today, you will walk away with investment strategies used by property investors with my personal favorites. Okay? I still put that into use today. In fact, I have sent out a property proposal, and trusting that all goes well, I've got 31% ROI reasons for it to go well. So let's see what happens, okay? So here we're going to cover tips and strategies, like what you need to know before you invest. What are property strategies to be aware of? And of course, like I shared, unpacking my favorite property strategies. And at the end, I'm going to show you how to gain access to the training that I've put together, because I know that I've mentioned it. And this will be again in a small, intimate classroom environment where we as a collective do a deep dive on what we'll talk about today and everything that you need to know to get you to the next level. Guys, are you excited? Let me just go back to that investor question. You know what? I want to give you a sum total of what everybody said. The moment they hear the word investor, they just think money, 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 money. If so far you haven't learned anything yet from me, I want to share this with you. When you are in company of like-minded people, they will understand why you say the things you do to a large degree. But when you're in company of, for example, you're going out, you find an opportunity, and you find this opportunity from a seller. The seller is distressed, and you say to the seller, I'm a property investor. They're going to look at you and think you're going to use your money to bully them out of their property. I've had a number of sellers actually say that to me directly when they've asked me, are you a property investor? And I was able to say to them, no, because listen to this one very, very clearly. My property strategy is to find the opportunity, put it in a proposal, and to sell it. Okay, I'm selling it to the investor. So I put a deal together for the investor. I'm not using my own money. And some of you will say, well, if that makes you sleep better at night, it does. So I'm able to then understand what their frustrations are, because sometimes sellers are distressed. And when they sell their property, they feel like they need to get the most out of what they've been working so hard for their home. And here comes somebody that says, I'm a property investor. You're dealing with somebody emotional. And again, guys, this is not for everybody, okay? Not everybody's going to agree with me that this has been their experience, and that is okay. And you know why it's okay? Because you had that experience. But this is what I share with my students, more so people that I've spoken to in hindsight of this word property investor. Has also said, I wondered why some people go quiet. Sometimes real estate agents go quiet to you the moment you say property investor. Some of them think you're gonna muscle them out of their money. Okay, guys, I need you to pay attention to that. So what you need to know before you invest in property, if you have not started taking notes now, here is going to come a flood of information, okay? Know what you want from property investing. That's what I shared with you in the beginning. Why? Because there's cash flow property versus your capital growth. So now, when you buy a property and you hold, when you buy a property and you hold, make sure that the rental is going to be paying your bond and utilities, and that you get cash flow at the end of it. Some people will then say, I'm going to hold for a long period of time because in this particular area, the properties appreciate naturally over time. Just understand what you want from a property. For me, it's not that I didn't care about cash flow or whether I didn't care about capital growth. You know why? Because in the network that I'm in, even in different business networks that I'm in, when I hear somebody's a property investor, I go very close to them and I have a conversation and I ask them very simple questions. So here's part of the strategy I will be talking through continuously throughout this webinar. I ask them, where are you looking for a property? And the reason I ask them is to get an idea whether it's going to work for me or not. Why? I look in the West Rand. Now, if you're going to send me to the East Rand, I'm going to say, well, I'm not your chick, right? because I'm not driving to the East Strand. For me, that is just a no-no, personal. But then I ask them the next question, where do you stay? And if somebody tells me I'm looking anywhere and I stay in East Strand, I'm like, no, stay at least 20 to 25 kilometers from your deal. So that if there's something that happens, you can go there quickly. You want to view more than once, you can go there quickly. It's easy access. And then I ask them how much. And if somebody tells me 500,000, I ask them cash or bond. Why? Cash is a negotiating tool. We know this in property investing. Those that are aspiring real estate entrepreneurs, take notice of the points of what you can negotiate in, right? So we know this in the space that we're in. You can use cash to negotiate. Again, I ask that question so that I know what I'm dealing with, right? And when I go, the investors told me 500K, I go and I tell the real estate agent 400K because I don't know what it is, and I stand corrected and I'm open to correction. But I'm always then taken to a property that's worth a little over 400K. So I want to safeguard where I am so that when I do exhaust the budget of 500K, it was not something to aspire to exhaust, but I also want to know where my limits are, right? Invest in yourself. Earlier, I spoke about seminars, books, like-minded people, and a coach. When TJ and I were looking for a vehicle to help us work out of financial trouble, because we had multiple businesses prior, okay? And the multiple businesses ranged from chicken farming to diaper distribution to car rental, very fluffy things in between, right? As you can see, we are serial entrepreneurs. And there was residual debt of a number of these things, okay? But the farm was the one that really killed it for us. So we needed to find a vehicle that was going to help us get out of this. And this vehicle happened to be property investing. And in this property investing, we went to seminars. He literally dragged me to the seminar. Okay, I won't admit that. But when we were leaving there, I was a convert because I heard the strategies that I didn't need to put money down. And you know, I'm one of those cynical people sometimes. If you tell me there's no money that's needed there, I'm going to ask you, well, how do you make money if you don't have money? You know, I'm going to ask you, don't BS me. Just tell me the truth. And what I learned over time is that if I can find an opportunity and put the proposal together and sell it to an investor that doesn't have the time to go and find that opportunity, okay, that I've already serviced the need of my fellow colleague. I call all entrepreneurs my colleagues, okay? So I've serviced that investor's need. So my role as a sourcing partner is important there. Why? Because I'm sourcing out the deal. I've put the proposal together. And when this person is happy, I sign an NDA before they even see any of my work. I sign an NDA so that we go out, and when I say, here's a view of the property, and when we walk away, they can then decide then. There's a lot of things that are set up, sign in the OTP, or do your due diligence, come back, sign in the OTP, and we'll take it from there. So being in training, that opened my mind to what happened, okay? And when I came out, of course, what is the first strategy am I going to do? Sourcing. And then I learned over time in sourcing, I'm finding deals. But then my husband said to me, babe, you know, we're sourcing, we're finding deals. Why not going to a joint venture where we can earn more from these deals? And that's what got us into joint ventures. When we joint venture with time, okay, with the knowledge and skill, and we joint venture with a property investor that does not have much time, but they've got money. We put our skills together, we come up with an agreement, we draw up a contract, and we move forward. This is why I say invest in yourself, because if you don't know that these strategies are out there, you are forever going to think that you're going to have to go to the bank to get money from the bank. And that is for people that do not have money. For people that do have a job and you say, oh, I only got a bond. Guys, you can utilize that bond. Just think about it. If you can get 2 or 3 bonds, small amounts, that covers your commitments all through to the bank. What money of yours are you using here? You're using your time and your skill to help you get ahead. Isn't there capital growth that's happening there because you've bought and you're holding this particular property? Always think about the bigger picture. How best could I utilize other people's money or the bank's money? All right. There's family and friends. To some people, it's a touchy subject. To others, that it's not a touchy subject. I want to say, explore that. For me personally, I'm cum si cum sa, I'm not too sure about that. So guys, I want to hear from you. Are you with me? Is this making sense to you? The things that you need to know before you invest in property, is this making sense to you? Have you been to seminars? Have you been to training? Are you reading the right books that will propel you? The book that my husband and I had read was Not Think and Grow Rich. That was the second one. Was just looking to see on our bookshelf here. It was the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. And when you look at the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, there's so much that comes from there, okay? When you look at the Think and Grow Rich book, it's all personal development, the different principles to propel you here, because it really starts mentally, if anything. So that should have been number one on the list, right? Cool. I see some of you are with me. Yes, Jen, I'm with you. Books are important. I listen to Audible when I'm driving and I happen to get stuck in traffic that odd day when I'm busy with business or something along the way. Cool. There's a lot of you that have also listened to Audible. Wonderful. Thank you guys for interacting with me in the comments. You are right on the dollar, man. And I don't want to say this because I'm a coach, but I want to impress upon you that if you are looking for a coach, here's quick tips for you, all right? Look for a coach that has got passion. There's nothing worse than having a coach that's going to give you a prescription, like going to the doctor, giving you a prescription, and they've never tried it. And if they haven't tried it, understand when we don't do everything, but at least they must know some things about it. And what you haven't tried, be fair about it, coach. The coach must be fair about it. Because I'm going to say to you, I haven't tried auctions. I have no desire to try auctions at this point in time. Why? There's too many things I've heard about auctions. There's people that do auctions and they have absolute fun with it. I am not one of them. But can I hook you up with somebody that's done auctions? Yes. Come to the networking event. And these are the types of people that you can be able to talk to. Okay. So I say, coach, not to create work for me, but to say to you, I learned my coach had passion. The second thing about a coach, the coach must know what they're doing. At least the coach must know what they're doing. They must at least have deals to show and tell, to say, this is where I've been involved in, whatever. They must have evidence, a track record of what they've been involved in, right? But for me, more importantly, you and the coach need to click. You need to somehow click, because I've seen many people that do not click with their coach, okay? And their coaching journey is miserable. They talk about how miserable their coaching journey is. However, I want to then flip the chart and say, if you're looking for a coach, you must be coachable. Don't go in there and say, yes, I know, and you don't do anything with the knowledge that you know. It's only applied knowledge that is powerful. It's only applied knowledge that will get you one foot in the door. And it's only applied knowledge that is power. All right. So there's advantages and different disadvantages to property strategies. I say this, know where you are financially. Because when you know where you are, then you know where you're going to go to. For example, I want to just simply highlight something that I'd gone through. A joint venture. I teach my students up until today, have a contract with the person you're going in partnership with, because a partnership can also be a sinking ship if you have not already ironed out the nitty-gritties in the beginning. If you're already fighting about money that you haven't earned yet, guys, that, in my opinion, is already a red flag. Okay? Because if you're fighting about money that you haven't earned already, what happens when one of you have gone out to look for the deal and the one that is monetizing the deal, one will say, oh, I put the money, it's more important. The other one says, I found the deal, it's more important. And then you're at loggerheads. What then? Create contracts for these situations. Okay? So there could be an advantage to it, a disadvantage to it. So when you are looking at a strategy, look at both things, the pros and the cons to it, but more particularly from where you are. And to every deal that you go into, have an exit strategy. And what do I mean by that? If you go in and you're going to buy, renovate, and sell, and it does not sell in the time that you have stipulated, or you've run your numbers to know that you've got holding costs that will take you just so far. Guys, in that's when I need you to know your exit strategy should be rental. Should it be rental for 6 months or 12 months? All of this you would have known already in your due diligence before you even put pen to paper. So always have an exit strategy. Know the market. You know which strategy to exercise. Okay. I call it get insider property knowledge on strategies. Where do you get that information? From training. Because I can tell you there are so many strategies for you to take or to learn from. There are so many. But the question is, where are you? I'm going to keep asking, where are you in your financial journey? And what do you need to get started with to actually understand what property investing is about? Listen cautiously, I say, to the experts, okay? The experts in the market. Why? Because they're going to tell you a whole lot of stuff. However, I want you then, when you find an opportunity to do your due diligence, listen to what the expert said, do your due diligence, because when you do that and it meets each other, your numbers must talk more than anything else. Okay? Doing those calculations are so important because you're not buying with your head. I mean, you're not buying with your heart. You are buying with logic. You are buying with what the mathematics tells you on a deal calculator, or however you work out your deal calculations. Okay? What structure will you use? Some people say, well, I use trust because of, I use business account because of, I go in on an individual basis because of. Why do you do what you do? How much investigation have you done? Have you spoken to a lawyer that deals in trust to understand your objective together with the vehicle? Because the vehicle on its own is good. Anything is good on its own. But paired up with the context of where you are and where you're going to, it's a very different conversation to have. And understand that there's risks and there's reward, and as an investor. And let me just share this one very, very quickly with you. There was a deal that M5 Property Addicts had in Riversdale. They called it the Stone Age deal. Now I see they got it as the ghost something. Guys, that deal took forever and a day. Even the contingency didn't, there were so many things that just didn't pan out eventually for things that they would never, ever would have known. I mean, one of the walls, a wall was made out of granite and stone. Come on. Like, would you know that in the beginning? So there will be times that some things that you do go into is risky. You didn't see the risk. You've mitigated all the risk before getting into there. And then you get into the deal and they show you flames. It happens few and far in between, but be aware. Like anything in life, there's always a risk and there's always a gain. Okay? Strategies can change according to investment needs at any given time in the life cycle of investing. Investing in property is properly, I would say, an active process. And there's also that little thing called asset protection. You know, in asset protection, I always just want to say, if there's anything that you need to know how to cover your behind, if you buy and you hold, understand what asset protection is all about. You don't need to like, I want to at this part say, we've gone through most of everything that I've prepared for you, okay? And to say that the goal of asset protection planning is really just to insulate the assets from the claims of creditors without any sort of tax evasion. You want to protect yourself, is the bottom line. And I want to leave you with this thought before we jump into the next section, which is very, very quickly. You do not need to like the property in order to invest in it. And I say that because some people are like, oh, I don't like distressed properties. How are you going to force appreciate that particular property if you don't like distressed properties? It's a question, right? So I've been talking about buy and hold, buy, renovate and sell, rent to buy. I've touched on a bit of creative finance. I knew that I was doing this in advance just to give you an overview as I come towards the end of this particular webinar for you. So buy and hold really just means I'm buying and I'm keeping this particular property. So some people buy, they keep this property. Obviously, sometimes they will renovate, sometimes no renovations are needed. So they buy and they rent it out and they get a passive income. What I have found is those that buy cash, very, very shortly after forcing appreciation on that particular distressed property or dilapidated property, that fix me upper, when they bring it up to market value, shortly into that journey, they go in and they refinance it at the bank. The bank gives them X amount of money, and now they've got capital to buy the next property, and all they do is rinse and repeat. Why? Because they bought the first deal with cash. Interesting, right? So there's a second one called buy, renovate, and sell, which is a flip. We all know that as a flip, right? In this flip opportunity, I have had instances where we've gone in, we've bought, renovated, and couldn't sell. One of our very first joint ventures, we had to do a rental for 6 months and then sell. So think about it. Remember, I just said to you just now that the strategy can change in the life cycle of that opportunity. This is the one that I'm also talking about. Then there's rent to buy. I want to just talk a little bit about rent to buy, which is an seller finance. There's different methods of seller finance, but the more popular one is the lease agreement, right? You go in and then you agree with the seller for X amount of time that you will pay them rent, whether it's 1 year, 5 years, whatever you come up with the seller, you will pay them rent. And in this period of time, you will do whatever you need to do with the property. But at the end of the rental agreement, you will then pay the balance of the money. What I know where I've been involved in is there's a deal that was in Boksburg where M5 Property Addicts bought the deal in seller finance. And after 12 months, they went to the bank after forced appreciating the property, okay, to a good stand. They went to finance it with the bank. When the money came out, they were able to then pay the balance of the money to that particular owner. So there's a lot of things. And as you can see in this time, I'm shortly running out of time. Okay, I really just wanted to be the maximum of an hour, maybe an hour, 10 minutes. So there's that option as well. And you would find out with your negotiations and your communication with the seller whether this is an option in their space. You can't immediately go into the deal and say, this is how I'm going to finance the deal. All right. Then there's creative finance, which was my initial strategy. So those of you that are not working, those of you that are looking for employment, those of you that cannot go to the bank, those of you that are blacklisted, those of you that just simply don't know which way to get money from, guys, this is for you. And I say this with all due respect because I started here and I still like to play in this particular area, which is creative finance. I go and I find an opportunity. I find the property. When I find the property, I do my due diligence. Once I do my due diligence, I put it into a proposal together, and then I go and sell it to an investor. It sounds quick. It can be a quick process. It can be a tedious process, okay? So, sorry about that. So in terms of finding the property, you can find property whether you're on Property 24 with a real estate agent driving around the area. There's multiple ways in finding property, all right? When you get in there, you take your pictures and you understand what is happening, collect the information from the real estate agent or whoever shown you around. Ask them questions like, how much is the levies? How much is water? What does electricity look like? All of those common questions that you will ask if you are buying this particular property to stay in it. Once you got all that information, you go back. Some people use software. Some people still use the good old deal calculator, which is on an Excel sheet. And we run our numbers, do all the calculations to find out whether the deal is viable. Because the one biggest lesson, I mean, guys, there's a lot of lessons I've learned, but my biggest lesson that I have learned within property, that 99% of properties that are for sale is not a good deal. You have to create a good deal. And that's what training and coaching helps you to do. Create a good deal. Do your due diligence, put it together, but also know in the environment that you're in, who are the property investors looking for opportunities. In the beginning, I found opportunities and I literally would go hunting to see who's willing to buy it. But the more I saw the same faces each time, it clicked. Why not ask this person for more information on what they're looking for, okay? And then I go and look for what they're looking for, because I already know the money is there. That was then my strategy that I turned on the head. So really research the market thoroughly. Identify an area which has high growth potential. Do the math, which is your due diligence, okay? Know the different overheads, know the bond and the property overheads, and budget for the worst case scenario. Always have a measure of contingency in there. Shop around for bargains, because there are many. We just need to know what to look for. We need that trained eye. And that's just the bottom line of having that particular trained eye. Understand the tenant market demands when buying. Why? Because you want to know what's happening in the area, okay? Invest for income first, not capital growth. That would be my way, I would say, of getting your way out of your job if you're wanting to, or getting a better income, or subsidizing your income, or getting your child's school fees paid, or whatever. But that would be my way. What is your way? I mean, in my household, TJ has fired APSA in April. Now 100% is in the business. So understand why you're investing, like I said earlier. Okay? Are you looking for cash flow, or are you looking for capital growth? Know your market. Know your strategy. Sorry. Negotiate on your price. Okay? Especially if you know that there's additional value that you can add. All of these things, I would say, in a nutshell, is for you to look out for when you are busy in property investing. So I want to ask you today, was that fair information that you had gotten from me? Was that helpful information? Was that something that you can certainly put into your bag of tricks, learn from, and go and apply? I want to hear from you in the chat. So while I hear from you in the chat, all I want to say is you must have a trained eye and your property toolkit to ensure that you are making money from day one. Wonderful. Jen, that is very, very helpful. I've got a lot of questions. Okay, cool. No problem. We're going to have Q&A time. We can shoot with the questions. Jen, that was helpful. Yes, there is power in networking. Wonderful. Guys, there's a lot of you that have said, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know about sourcing a sourcing partner. JVs, I was skeptical about. Wow. Guys, that's a lot of comments, eh? 200 plus people later. That is a lot of comments. So the comments that I was able to grab very, very quickly is the ones that I read out for you. So I want to say to you, what we've covered is not a push button, relax sort of solution. There's no system to magically grow your skills without putting in the work. You need to be dedicated and focused. Okay. And I'm saying this with lots of love because I understand that process. I've been through that process. And every day I'm still putting into here. I'm putting in the knowledge so that I can apply it. And when I apply it, it becomes power for me. Okay. So you need to be dedicated and focused on how to grow and implement your newfound skills. So I've seen one of the questions, some of them I have ignored purposely as well. One of the questions asked me more about the 1-day property workshop training session. We share a lot more about these strategies. I go through a few deals that I had gone through early days with bad pictures, good numbers, and how I found the opportunity, like I had mentioned in the previous slide, finding opportunities, how I had gone through putting it on a proposal and selling it, and the difference between a distressed property, a distressed seller, a motivated seller, because people often get that one a little bit incorrect, okay? So I go into those strategies end to end. I don't hold back. Why? Because I feel that if you can do it on your own, go for it. Either which way, we will always pay school fees. So you either pay school fees to get trained, or you pay school fees being on your own. But the bottom line is applying the information. That is what I'm after. Can you get into a space of applying the information? And before I continue talking about that, I just want to show you one picture that depicts some information that's very close to my heart. There's a lot of different pictures that I've put here. I'm not going to go through each picture one by one, but I'm sure of all these pictures, you can easily identify TJ and my biggest why. Our why that got us moving. Our why that will not, we will not, our why that will always remain, that will not stop being our why. Then you'll see other pictures where we network with the right-minded people. We've gone through to our cause, and like with a lot of training these days for social media, we take our picture to say we've been here, done that. We've done that as well. But I want to also just share very, very quickly about a lot of the things that we seek out as entrepreneurs. We follow the teachings of Robert Kiyosaki. And he's a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant mind that shares information and shares information very freely. We also connect with a lot of different people as we go along the way. As FHC Consulting, you'll see some people that had gone through my coaching program, standing together, having a victory moment. But I want to let you draw this in, okay? Because the training is not there to make FHC Consulting any rich. It is there to empower you. So now there's these statements where some people will say, oh, I know that property training and coaching, they usually make their money through property training and coaching. I'm still looking for a new victim. When they say that, I want to invite them for free to training, get them educated quickly, and then they'll tell me again. I'm naughty, I know I'm very naughty. Okay, guys. So yeah, so buttons. So what I want to do now is just to go over the training very, very high level, like I mentioned earlier, and how it can help you take everything that you've learned today to another level. And if it's right for you, then I want you to get it. This is a face-to-face training here in Gauteng in Sunning Hill, okay? If it's not right for you, it's okay. It's purely okay. I don't want you to get it then, okay? I'm going to do this without any sort of, because that's not me. I can get hyper, I can get very excited, but to create fanfare around this program, I know that I've skillfully put it together because of the knowledge that I have, as well as the experience. The experience makes it very, very easy to go through. So this program is specifically designed to help you understand what it means to get off the starting block and how you can go about doing so. So if you want to, and I say this respectfully, if you want to be respected within the property investment space among other investors that have been doing this for a long time, especially if you want to piggyback on the sourcing as a sourcing partner, the strategy that I enjoy doing, as well as joint ventures and partnerships. Guys, this is critical, okay? If you want to build goodwill in the marketplace by contributing to the lives of others, because as a property investor, you are also a problem solver. You're looking to help people get out of the situation that they're in by buying their property, bringing it up to market value, selling or getting an income, but also for that person to have a win situation where they cover whatever they need and they walk away with dignity. And you want to turn your passion of property investing into an income. Then I'm going to say, if you fit this criteria, then this program is for you. If you don't think it quite fits, maybe you've got a 1 out of 3, then I would say rather walk away, okay? Rather walk away and find another door to financial freedom heaven. Because you don't want to be kept into a space where you are not going to be passionate about executing what you know. So I would just want to say to you today, guys, thank you. Really, thank you so much for your time so far. Thank you for your cooperation. The comments that are coming through, I see a lot of questions. Maybe just very quickly, I will tell you how to, because one of the questions is, so how do I get the training? So you go to Quicket, you'll see the URL or the link on the screen right now. It's quicket.co.za. Okay. When you go to Quicket, then you're going to see a page like this with a search button. You're going to type getting started with property investing. Because when you type that, you're going to see an event coming up. Okay? When you select that particular event, then you are going to get access to booking your ticket. And whether you join for the 31st of August or whether you join for September or for October, I want to say that the training is scheduled on a monthly basis and it's scheduled on this particular portal if you want to share this with your friends and family. But I want to say to you, listen, you've watched the entire training. You know that property is your passion, and you also know that you want to get an income, an extra income, and it has to be clear, very clear to you right now already, that the one-day property training will show you how to do that. I want to ask you, how could you make your tomorrow any better if you don't invest in yourself today? So I invite you really for the last time to participate in this particular program so that you can accelerate your growth, you generate an income, and you change your lifestyle in the process. Go ahead, take advantage. It's an incredible discount. And I'm not saying to you that this discount will never be, but prices do go up. But this is an incredible discount. Take advantage of something that you can't lose. And it's really a risk-free training, especially if you know that this time that we've just spent together right now has really been awesome for you. All right, guys. So just before I sign off quickly, the questions. There's a lot of questions. It looks like some of you, I may have to inbox you some of these answers, or I'll go on email to answer these questions for you. Just another swig of water. So one of the questions I want to say has come up a lot. How do I get notified? Or no? Oh, it's because I'm reading it in what you're saying. So the question actually says, how do I get notified about your webinars? I really enjoy this one. I don't always have webinars. Sometimes I do these webinars by request, but everything that I do is uploaded onto YouTube, and other times we do advertise. So if you want to know more about it, I suggest that I invite you to come and like the page, so that whatever activity happens on the FHC Consulting page, then you are able to get the notifications. I think that's the simplest answer. Okay. How do I get started if I cannot get credit from the bank? Okay, I trust that I've answered that question pretty much okay. When you can't get credit from the bank, we started off in a lot of debt. We couldn't get credit from the bank. Well, we couldn't get credit from nowhere. Okay. And we started off with sourcing, which is finding the opportunity, putting it together in a proposal, and selling it to an investor that does not have time to actually go and look for that particular opportunity. How does your coaching work? Okay, I'm going to answer this question tongue-in-cheek a little. I don't really like talking about coaching at this point, because if you found value so far and you come on the one-day training, I want you to know that outside of training, you've got a solid skill. Okay, there's not going to be any dangling of carrots. You're going to know a spade is a spade by the time you leave. And then I'll talk about coaching. I've got different coaching options. What I can then say about another set of coaching, I do have private coaching, but the prerequisite to get into that private coaching is that you should have already been to property training. You should have already been to property training and trying to apply the strategies. And that's when I rather welcome you to inbox me. I think that would just be fair on the webinar like today, because there's a lot of people that are here that are wanting to get started, and I don't want to be talking about coaching at this given point. I really trust that that is okay. I'm sharing that with love and all the honesty in my heart, because I understand that sometimes we get carried away, and I know that I have said it's good to get a coach, but it's good to get a coach once you see the value in what you've paid for. So if you got this for free and you found value, and you coming through to the one-day training and you find further value, then talk to me about coaching. Why? Because you must need coaching, or you must want coaching. I don't want to sell you coaching. It's not the way I work. It's probably not a way you're used to, but I prefer it this way. Because again, for me, coaching and training is very, very close to my heart. This is my passion, amongst other things, of getting several income streams. But I don't want to just say, oh, yay, it's coaching because of, okay? So what other questions are popular? Thank you so much for sharing so freely. Thank you so much for your, oh, wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for your interaction. I want to say thank you for your interaction, where we were able to do some interactions. Could I get a recording? Could I get a recording of this webinar? Absolutely. You can go visit my channel, which is Genevieve Stafford Jack, my YouTube channel. This will then be posted on Tuesday evening, because I'll also be posting this particular webinar to my community, because I enjoy serving my FHC consulting community and new members that are aspiring real estate entrepreneurs. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop that one for now. I must admit, I don't even know how much time we've taken, but I really want to say I look forward to serving you. And for all that it's worth, I really want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. You have spent this particular time with me wisely. So I look forward to serving you very, very soon. Take good care.